The Buzz with Jess Lujan.
Consumer protection is our topic tonight, of course, with Guam Attorney General Liz Barrett-Anderson. And consumer protection, recently you teamed up with CNMI Attorney General. You wrote,
Ed Madbusan.
Yes, you wrote a letter to United in regards to for the folks who fly United, and they fly back to the U.S. mainland, basically. You know that what was eliminated was the meals that were eliminated between the Guam and
more than just the meals. They
bags,
the free bag.
Bags, yeah.
We used to get 2 free luggages, and then the second bag is now charged.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with your plight, basically, in a bigger scale, in a sense.
On a bigger scale,
in a bigger scale, because I tried to get an exemption for foreign airlines.
You were going after rates to try and bring.
I was going after rates. I'm glad that again the consumer protection part of the AG's office is picking up on this, because again these are things that happen because they can, because they can. But let me ask you this, because when we fly, our tickets our boarding passes say international, INT, basically, right? INT. Or something, whatever it is. Yeah, INT. Yeah, okay. Which means international. Although, United came out and says, well, this is a domestic flight, so therefore, no domestic flights are served meals, and of course, the bag allowances and things like that. So, all those things applicable to domestic flights, the 1-hour flights, even Hawaii, the 5-hour flight, that's domestic. But us, man, I mean, this is a full day's work and some, okay? And that's a domestic meal. Through your efforts, we're able now to get
snacks.
Snacks. Yeah.
What are those snacks? Have you flown lately? I hope it's more than just pretzels.
Yeah, but anyway, that being said, AG, in the consumer part of this, are we looking, because in ticketing prices, right? I mean, you really have to look into the pricing and what structure they are, because one of the things that we probably should look at is what pricing structure falls under domestic, and we get charged with this. What pricing structure is under the international side? If you're international, this is what it is. Because if it's all domestic side, if we really are domestic side and categories of that, then we shouldn't have any charges related to international. Anything international, all be domestic. But if we have a crossover all the time, it's like, well, when it benefits the company, we're domestic. When it benefits the company to be international, then it's international. Obviously, the federal government has deemed us as international, because we have to, between Guam and Honolulu, in order for us to get on the plane, we have to pre-clear immigration
and transportation purposes.
You don't do that from Hawaii, from LA to Honolulu, because it's domestic, or any other domestic flight. You don't have to clear, again, their immigration situation. But we are. So we are, again, looked upon or categorized as an international destination.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head. Is the airline looking at this route as domestic and imposing upon the customers of Guam domestic policies and standards? Or is it international, which I agree with you. I look at my boarding pass and it says international. So what I and Ed want to do is, and our discussion is going to continue with United, is to get them to say it very clearly. If this is in fact an international flight, then treat us as an international flight. And every other international flight that United flies, including Micronesia, meals are provided, the extra baggage is provided. But at what stage did the company decide to treat it as domestic when we never were in the past? So our discussions with United continue. One of their chief operating officers is coming out in January, and I have to give Sam Shanahan a lot of credit. Immediately after he got the letter, he called upon Ed and I, and we had a meeting in Saipan, a very good meeting, and he recognized actually some of the concerns of Saipan were even more serious than Guam's. And he indicated an individual's coming out in January can continue those discussions. I just am so disappointed that the merger has gone in the wrong direction of lessening, customer service than improving customer service.
Sure.
And both General Manabusan and I, we want United to improve customer service.
Sure.
So I don't want to engage in a battle with them. It's let us understand exactly what you classify us as, and let's talk to the federal government. Is this in fact correct or true?
I got one solution to that. The best way to rectify without government intervention is competition.
Let's go there.
Let's go
talk
there.
about that.
Absolutely. No. I think it's fantastic that we're going down this road, and hopefully down the road here we'll get some again rectifying or changing again, as you say, the rules and regs back then, and they need updating. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, some of these things, of course, in regards to the restrictions, like cabotage, and also go way back, way before even the consumer, that
Yes.
need definitely updating.
Yeah, and Jesse, I want to applaud you for all your efforts in the past on that. And you came up against so many brick walls. And I'm not at that stage in my tenure as Attorney General to take on those brick walls. I'd just like to be able to say, couldn't we go back to the service we've always had?
Sure.
Something as simple as that.
And again, I want to make a recommendation. I hope that the lawmakers are listening right now, as we did earlier in regards to the, again, wholesalers and things like that. And one of the things they would consider as well is this, maybe in a local statute said, hey, if you're going to be flying, if you're going to be originated from Guam, or again, your destination will be for Guam, is that if you're flying more than 3 hours, maybe 3 hours, that you have to serve a meal. That's one of the things that, I mean, I hate to have to do that because I'm not heavy in government regulation, and things like that. But when you're not treated as equal, when you look at other destinations that again, I mean, the classification is wrong. So in our side, in what we have to do to reciprocate, to answer that, the ill treatment. And I don't want to heavy
and the meals.
Yeah, sure.
And if you don't have a credit card or an ATM, you cannot pay by cash.
Sure.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I recognize you don't like to have cash in people's hands, but that's not the customer's problem. So if someone says, I have $10 or I have $20, can I buy something?
Sure.
I'm sorry, you can't.
Yeah. Sure.
Even simple things as that. So merger, especially with regard to services, rates is one thing, but merger with regard to services just was more detrimental to us.
And General, I on a daily basis where I work out, you have flight attendants that stay down there, and every day I see them, and we talk about this, and they feel as bad as well because they do what they can to accommodate, what they can, but they also have a supervisor that has to. I mean, they can get fired or disciplined, for again given a meal or something, in what they had before, and that is one thing they said. I mean, we want to do that. They're not looking. We're doing this, but we can lose our jobs in doing so.
And those people you're talking about,
these are flight attendants.
These are flight attendants. These are employees of United currently that used to be with Continental that are vested in our island. And I'm sure they
actually they were United employees. They weren't Continental employees. They were United because
some of them are Continental.
Yeah. No. Well, the ones I'm talking to are the ones that are Hawaii based.
Oh,
they're Hawaii based. They're United. They were never Continental. They're United, but they merged, so they're the ones that fly the Guam, Honolulu.
Well, the ones I'm talking about are local Continental employees that United kept on. And I'm sure they would love to see services return.
I mean, I fly to the Philippines 3 hours. They give me a meal, no problem. Smaller plane, bigger plane going from here to Honolulu. I mean, no, it's domestic.
Well,
I mean,
but I want to be able to say that the one thing that General Manabusan and I are interested in is the continued dialogue. Because I think dialogue is,
Sure.
is important.
Sure.
And General Manabusan and I in February will be having some nice dialogues with DOJ and Department of
I
Transportation.
tell you, I mean, from what my experience in cabotage, I'm willing to donate my time to be with the two of you to help help with the costs.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Be right back.